Arlene, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Let me play devil's advocate a little bit there with Dougie's take on the protocol. Let me put it to you that there's a majority of MLAs who were elected last Thursday who would probably vote to keep the protocol if there was a vote in the Assembly. There is support for the protocol too outside of unionism.
But I think that you're missing the whole point about the Belfast Agreement, because the Belfast Agreement is about consent from both sides of the community. When it was signed in 1998, that was the fundamental of it, the power sharing element of it, so that both nationalism and unionism would be content to power share in Northern Ireland. Because of the fact of the protocol and because of the damage it's doing to the Belfast Agreement, unionism have withdrawn from that. And therefore it's up to our government. The government can fix this. They can move unilaterally to fix the protocol issues. In other words, those checks between Great Britain and Northern Ireland, which are causing so much cost. Dougie referred to the road haulage, transport. They're saying that costs have gone up by 27% over a year. That's an enormous amount of money that they have to recoup somewhere. So it has to be dealt with.
But is that in the sense of you want... Because what I hear from British ministers, Dominic Raab was saying this yesterday, that he feels that the protocol itself doesn't necessarily need to go, that it's just been too rigidly applied. So if it was a bit more flexible and... not as rigidly applied, would that be acceptable to unionism? Or does it have to go completely?
Darren, we've heard this so much from our ministers about rigidly applying the law. We know the European Union will always rigidly apply the law. That's what they do. And if you raise an issue with them, they just point to the law and say that's what it is, so get on with it. And we've been in negotiations with the European Union now for 18 months. We've seen absolutely no movement from them. So therefore the government, which is sovereign in Northern Ireland, of course, under the Belfast Agreement, have to take action to deal with this issue because the internal market of the United Kingdom has been cut off. People can't move goods in a free-flowing way from Great Britain into Northern Ireland.
Let's talk about unionism. Where does this election leave unionism? I mean, pretty divided is the ultimate answer, isn't it? I mean, is there a sense that maybe the Ulster Unionist Party, the DUP, need to merge, for example?
I think they will take a long, hard look at those results. You mentioned Jim Allister's party, the TUV. He got 65,000 votes and one MLA because of the shredding of the vote, right? The Alliance Party got 116,000 votes, not much more, 40,000 more. They have 17 MLAs because of the transfers, because it's a PR system and other parties were transferring to them, parties from unionism, parties from nationalism. And that's why, actually, Darren, it's very interesting when you look at the seat losses in this election. 3 seat losses for unionism, 4 for nationalism. And I think a lot of people have missed that point, actually, that the SDLP had a really bad election and their vote went to Sinn Féin. I think there was a mood in nationalism that people wanted a nationalist First Minister, and they knew that Sinn Féin was going to deliver that, so they voted for Sinn Féin and left the SDLP. And that's very dangerous for the SDLP because we warned the SDLP when they stepped aside in the Westminster election in North Belfast, for example, to unseat Nigel Dodds of the DUP. The SDLP
could be eaten up, if you like.
That they could be eaten up, and that's exactly what has happened.